There are different design frameworks or techniques, you can call them techniques, that product designers use to create solutions for users. One of them is user centered design, that's UCD framework. The second one is design thinking framework. So we'll be working for this course, we'll be looking at design thinking. What is design thinking? Design thinking is a user centered process that involves understanding users, clarifying assumptions, and redefining problems to create innovative solutions. By testing and refining ideas with real users, designers can craft products that meets users' need. So design thinking is iterative. It's a process that UI UX designers have to take to understand users. Right. So there is, remember I said it's a process and it's also iterative. So it's not linear, it's not a linear path. It's, you can decide to go from, you will get to see the process, right? So you can decide to move from step one to step two, and then from that step two you can go back to step one to complete, to make sure that your idea or you make sure that you understand your users, make sure you get to know what they are saying, get to know what their pain points are, right? So then we go to the principles of design thinking. Now, these principles, there's a process, right? And you need to understand the principles so that it will guide you while you are while you're on the process of design thinking. So the principles here, centricity and empathy. So you are not sympathizing with your users, you are trying to, you're empathetic about it, so you're trying to be in their shoes, you're trying to empathize with them, you're being in their shoes and not trying to empathize with them. Now it is user centered, it is centered around the user. First of, you're doing your first um you're going to do your first, your defining process, your defining stage as well would be you trying to understand who your users are, right? So it's user centered. Second, collaboration. So this collaboration, you are going to partner with UI designers, you're going to partner with motion designers, you're going to partner with your marketing team. And if it's a company you're working with that you are just the only person there, you're wearing different caps, you are still going to collaborate with your users. You are still going to collaborate with your users. Three, ideation. Now this ideation, you're going to see how ideation work and how to do it. Get to see metrics and the rest. Four, experimentation and iteration. Now remember I said design thinking is not a linear process. You're going to experiment, you're going to move from this part, from this process, from this section to this section, to this step to this step, right? So it's not a linear process. Then five, a bias towards action. Whatever research you're doing, you're going to do in design thinking, the design should be very relatable to your UX. So it's an action based. You're not just going to do your UX and then let it be like that. You're not going to, meaning you will not implement it in in your design. The action part, you have to implement your UX in your design. Okay. What is the design thinking process? One, we have empathize, we have define, we have ideate, we have prototype. So for the empathize, you have to, this is where you get to understand your users. So you engage and observe your target audience, go listen to them, you step out, get to listen to them, get to know what their problem is, from observation and all. So this is where you get to conduct an actual interview, or you get to like send out questionnaires to them and get feedback. So your interview, you could do an online interview or you could do a physical interview, whichever one that serves better at that is convenient. Yes, you get to do that. You get to do the interview, right? So take for instance, let's say we're going to work on a water drinking app, and here's the problem. The problem is people do not always drink water more than 8 cups a day. So that's the problem. And And this reduces cognitive and athletic performance in individuals. So it was found that just a 2% decrease in body water level decreases athletic performance as much as 60% and cognitive performance as much as 50%. So this is the problem we want to solve. Now, when it gets to the empathized state for design thinking, what you're going to do is you're going to ask people, you got to ask people, send out anonymous surveys and then get them to fill it. Or you could do an interview with them to find out why they don't get to take 8 cups of water in a day, right? So of course, you're going to have an assignment that's after this. So you're going to pick out a problem to solve. But this is just me giving an example of what I mean by empathize. So you go there, ask them why don't you take water? And you have a list of questions you need to ask them, but your questions will be around this problem statement. You know, yeah, to be around the problem statement you've chosen to solve. Now, your problem statement should just be your questions you're asking them should just be like depends, but it should not be more than 10, so you don't get to like get people uncomfortable. And then your questions have to be open ended. You don't ask close ended questions. Say for instance, you ask questions close ended questions like something that will just get them to say yes or no or maybe, those kind of questions. Those are not the questions you ask them. You ask them questions that would prompt them to say say a lot of things, right? I'll get them to not just say yes, say that no, but then we'll give more details on what you're asking for, right? Okay. So for the defined stage, this is where you have your your clear problem statements. Then you've done your interview, right? So you go back and look at what you've done, look at what response you got from the users, and then pick out what the exact problem is, right? It could be that from their response you can still get um another problem. How do I put this now? Say for instance, I go to do an interview for people that for this problem statements that I read out before, and then from my defined stage I noticed that people don't drink water because they don't have time or because they are not usually with their water bottle, they are not reminded and all. So another problem would just be picking out the main problem from this problem statement would be that, oh, users need to take 8 cups of water daily to maintain a healthy lifestyle and boost cognitive performance, but they can't do this because they have such and they're limited because of this. They are limited because of this and this. That's because of the problems they stated, right? So that's where you clearly define what exactly the problem you're solving. This will help you in your ideation stage. Then, so from an ideation stage, step 3, yeah, you get to generate wide range of ideas and solutions for the problem you've gotten from the users and from the problem you already have initially. That's from empathize, you already have a problem. And then a more detailed problem statement from your defined stage. So you get to this ideation stage is very it's unlimited. Think of any idea, whether digital problem solutions or physical. It could be physical, it could be anything outside of digital solution, right? Remember, you're a product designer, you are trying to solve a problem for people. It could be that their solution it's going to require a digital solution. It's going to require a website or a mobile application, depends. So that's where you come in, right? You get to just ideate on a lot of things, a lot of solutions. You will get to look at how you can ideate, because all the solutions, there are some that require immediate action, and they are very easy to for you to solve. There are some that will not be easy to solve, but um it's something that is needful, so you get to understand how to ideate, right? Regarding our problem statements, the initial one from the empathize state. So for ideation, you could say we'll provide an accountability partner for the people, for these people. That is, if we're looking at digital solution, provide accountability partner, where they can request for friends. If they'll be accountable to their friends. We can have leaderboards. We can also provide games in the mobile application that motivates them as well to take water. They could even be incentives, rewards for drinking a cup of water. We can even have educational materials that get to teach these people, or educational materials like fillers, stickers, to get to remind them that, okay, see, this is the reason why you have to take water. This is the advantages of taking water, so that it just sticks in their head. So this is me living digital solution, right? Anything could be a solution. All right. So moving on to prototype. So this prototype is in two ways. You can decide to prototype on Figma, or you can do a paper prototype. Now, when you do a paper prototype, it's sketching. Sketching is not the way you do your pen sketch. You prototype on Figma or paper, and then for the testing, your paper prototype, you could decide to just give. This is where usability testing comes in. You can send your link prototype, the prototype link to users, and then get them to interact with it, see how they interact with it. um did they click on this button? What was the confusion with it? Did this solve their problem? Before development comes in, before the developer gets to develop your product, your design, right?